What is up, my loves? Welcome back to another episode of the Fully Alive podcast. My name is Stephanie Elsperman. I am your host. I'm your girl. And in today's episode, I'm going to be giving you a behind the scenes tour around how I was able to generate 4 figures in cash, 4 figures in sales, and an opportunity off of my vision board literally while I was on vacation with my family for an entire week, doing nothing but being in the sun, playing, laughing, boating, all of that good stuff, and how I really set up my business to be able to hold that. And I think so many times you'll see these results on social media of like, oh my God, I just made money while I was, on the beach or whatever. And like, yes, literally does happen. And also, I want to be real with what it actually took to get to that place and the structures that I have in place to be able to support that. So I'm going to take you through where it came from and also break down what it actually looked like being on vacation, how much I actually worked to be able to create this, and a few tips that you can start to implement within your life, within your business, to be able to create a business that not only gives you incredible purpose and impact in this world, but also allows you to get paid and to have a life of absolute abundance that gives you the freedom to then really enjoy these simple pleasures, like being with the people that you love, like going on vacation and not having to worry about your next paycheck or going back to work on Monday. If that is something that you desire, you are exactly in the right place. I'm going to completely take care of you in this podcast episode, and I can't wait to get there. So let's head in to the podcast episode. So as I mentioned, I just got back from family vacation where I was down in Florida for a week. We spent 5 days with Nolan's family and we spent 5 days with my family, all of my extended family. So not only was it a huge family vacation, but we were celebrating my sister's birthday, my grandmother's birthday. We share a birthday, and the 4th of July all in one. So it was one big action-packed family vacation. I don't know about you, but I personally, it's like I don't get to see my extended family that often. And Nolan and I live in Connecticut. We don't have family around. So when we're with our family, it is truly, truly my greatest intention to fully be there. And it's so funny because in the past, I've had all of these like big ambitions around like, I'm going to get this, and this project done while I'm away. And then I get there and I'm around the people who I love the most. All of that goes out the window because for me, truly, the reason why I created a business in the first place is to be able to have the flexibility to not have to ask somebody to take off, to be able to actually be with the people, again, that I love the most and to be fully present. And so I always have to check myself and be like, I never want to trade this for the empire that I'm building or the things that I'm creating, because this is the why. And that will always be my intention through and through. My clients will come to me and be like, Steph, I don't want to have a business where I have to be like on social media 24/7 and on my phone and away from my life. I'm like, I totally hear you. Me too. That's not how I set up my life. It's not how I set up my business, because first and foremost is being able to actually be present and to be in my life. Because when I'm in my life and when I am fully filled up by the state of my life, everything gets better. My leadership changes and shifts, my relationships change and shift, and I myself am a fully resourced human. I will always say that you are the vessel for your purpose. And if you are not fully filled up by the state of your own life, even outside of your business, if your business went away tomorrow, would you still be fully filled up by the state of your life? If it's not a full yes, then we've got to tweak something, because you are the vessel for your purpose. If you're not fully filled up, nothing else is really going to work. You can't run yourself into the ground trying to build something and forget about your life and forget about enjoying the people that you love the most. So this entire week for me was exactly that. Enjoying, laughing, having boat day, getting to go to the beach, be by the water, be in the warmth, catching up with my family, and letting my brain be fully offline, which for me, I'm a projector in human design. Whether you look at that or not, I think we all need breaks for our brain to be able to fully clear out any past residue and ideas, and to just go offline for a second to come back fully refreshed. And today is my first day back in my office after this trip, and I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to get back into my work and to get to create things now moving forward from this refreshed place. And so that's what I spent the week doing. And one of the coolest parts of this entire trip is that while I was there, literally on the back of the boat, I was still able to generate over 4 figures in cash, over 4 figures in sales, and I received my first in-person speaking event invite, which if you listen to my last podcast episode, which was my birthday, or excuse me, 2 episodes ago, which was my birthday reflection, I had voiced like, watch me this next year, I will be speaking up on a stage. And I declared that to you all. And look at that. The power of manifestation is so real. And it just dropped in, which is so cool by such a random connection. And that's something that's been on my vision board for so long. It's for a nonprofit that I'm fully behind in their mission. So stay tuned for all of that. But nonetheless, cash happened, sales happened, opportunities happened, which is amazing. And this was all while taking 0 sales calls. I did have 1 client call while I was there. I didn't post at all on social media. I might have posted a few stories, but nothing to my feed. And I was pretty much working on average, maybe 20 to 30 minutes a day. There were a couple of days that were a little bit longer, a couple of days that were a little bit shorter, but I would say that the average fell into 20 to 30 minutes a day. And what's funny is that I was reflecting on what I wanted to create a podcast on this week. And I was just also looking back at the trip being like, oh, some cool things actually happened. I felt like this was normal. Like for me, I was about to not make a podcast on all of this because on some level, it felt very normal. And it felt like, oh yeah, of course, like payments are coming through. Of course, sales are happening. Of course, these opportunities are dropping in because I've created a business where I don't have to be fully online all of the time. And then that dawned on me and it dropped in and I was like, I'm just going to share with you guys what this actually looks like because it is one of the coolest feelings to know that you are creating an impact and you're in your purpose and serving people, even when you're not like on all of the time. And to be genuinely excited to come back to what it is that you're doing after a week off for me is the greatest gift in my entire life. I am not here to waste time. I'm not here to build somebody else's daydream. I'm here to build something for myself that serves other people. And I feel like this is really just the representation of that. So I'm going to break down for you where these opportunities and income actually came from and how I was able to create a business for my purpose that actually supports me and supports the lifestyle of getting to be offline and getting to be present. So realistically, what this week off looked like, because I think sometimes it can be like, oh, I just was on vacation all week. And like, you don't know if they were in their hotel room working for 4 hours. You don't know if they were actually on the beach responding to DMs. Like you don't know what's actually going on. So I'm going to peel back the curtain and literally tell you the whole schedule of what happened during the work week. So Monday through Friday. So Monday, we started off with CEO Monday, of course. So Monday is typically just in general, I don't have calls. I don't speak to people. It is a day fully for myself to either work on my business, so on the big picture ideas within my business, or to go play and have fun. And we were staying with Nolan's parents, and they actually happen to live close by Miss Laura Patricia Martin, who you all know and love on this podcast. She's one of my dearest friends. And so I had a facial in the morning, which was so fun. I never get facials. I always say I want to get them and to create time for them, but I finally did. It was Nolan's parents' gift to me for my birthday, which was so sweet. So I went and I got a facial. And then I met up with Laura for some Pilates. We went for a little walk. We catched up on life. We goofed around. We told ourselves we were going to create content and do all these different things, but really we just ended up laughing and dancing the entire time. TBD on the content. It's a little bit unhinged. So we thought, I was like, it was so funny because throughout the day I was like, Laura, I need to sit with my laptop and work because I still have that cute part of my brain that like, especially when I'm easing into a week off, my brain will go on alert and be like, I've got to go do things. And like, there are no fires that are burning. I've literally set up my business to be able to create space for this, but there's still that part of me that's like, I need to be at my laptop. And so that cute part of myself came up and I was like, let's go to a coffee shop. So we go to a coffee shop. We decide we can't focus at that coffee shop. And then we just ended up going back to her place, goofing around, having fun, making dinner, and calling it a day. So then Tuesday, we were traveling to our next stop. So we were going to see my family. So we were traveling in the car for 3 hours. And in that time, I probably spent about an hour and a half while I was in the car. I hotspotted from my phone, prepping for the podcast that comes out on Wednesday. So I created show notes. I made a thumbnail. I basically just checked the boxes on anything that needed to get done. And then once I got to our location on Tuesday, that was more of a working day. I took an hour-long call with a client and then responded to some messages for about 30 minutes. That was the longest amount of time that I spent working in my business on the whole trip. Then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday was like full on family time. Wednesday we had boat day. Thursday was the 4th of July. So we had a family meeting and then hung out. Friday was another boat day. And we just had a good time being with family. So those days where I was basically completely offline. I did take about 15 to 20 minutes each day to check in with current clients, any messages that I had, to answer DMs. I wasn't on my email. I wasn't sending out new messages. I wasn't really doing anything that wasn't pressing or wasn't a responsibility to the clients that I have currently and that I serve. So they will always come first. Although so many of them were like, I'm not going to bother you. You're with your family. Because we all have that value of getting to be present with our family, which was so sweet. I was like, I love you guys so much. So that was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I didn't even really post on my stories. I didn't necessarily post on my feed because I, again, wasn't going to be the person who was like, I need to go and like be away from everybody for a couple of hours to get these things done. I was like, we have a short amount of time. I'm just going to be fully here and everything else can wait. Again, I created my business to be able to hold space for this. And then Sunday we came back. We had a super, super early flight. And then I just prepped for the week. So we went to Whole Foods. We cleared out the house, unpacked, made food, all of that good stuff. So breaking down where the income and the opportunities actually came from. The cash generated came from recurring payments from long-term containers with clients. So these are programs, these are one-on-one things that there are payment plans set up for. The sales that came through were from a meeting that I had with a business that I'm going to be doing a little bit of work for. They came back with an offer and that was good to go. So that wasn't necessarily something completely new, but the offer came in, a sale was generated. And then the speaking opportunity actually came random series of events. I just one day woke up and I got a message from somebody being like, hey, I work for X, Y, and Z nonprofit. This is our mission. And we're looking for a keynote speaker. Are you open to doing that? And I was like, oh my gosh. Sure, of course. And I was like, how did you find me? Because they're local in Connecticut, which is amazing. I was like, how did you find me? And they were like, actually, this person who's basically the owner of a spa that I go to, I asked a question in a Facebook group and she responded and referred me to you, which is so wild because it really is such a small world and it was super cool. That like we had a few conversations. I love this woman so much, the owner of a spa. I think she's such a badass entrepreneur. She's absolutely amazing. And then that connection was created and that she was willing to reference my name even when I wasn't necessarily in the room was so beautiful. And that was something that you guys know, like on my last podcast, I had been talking about, like, this is something that's happening this year. So it was just so fun to wake up and be like, oh, of course, like those little moments of magic are so beautiful. So that's where everything came from. So what actually leads to this? If you're someone who wants to create a business that isn't necessarily reliant on you being online all the time, if you want to be able to go on vacation and still receive opportunities, I'm going to give you 4 tips that you can implement that will start to get you to that place. Of course, there are so many different pieces of all of this, but here's a taste of the key things that I feel like really led to these opportunities in this instance. So the first and honestly the most important on the energetic side of things is speaking your goals out loud. Now, why I say this is A, the power of manifestation. I shared with you guys in this example that this was something that, I'll be completely honest, in the past, I have kept my goals very sacred to me. I have kept them very close to my heart. Everybody in my life knows that I am very private when it comes to my own goals. And usually it's just me and maybe a few other people that I share them with. And on that birthday episode, I was like, I'm going to go for it. And I'm just going to share it because you know what? Fuck it. I've got nothing to lose. I'm going to share that this is one of my goals. Like speaking is really something that I have seen for my career and is something that I want to move my career in the direction of. More so than a different medium is speaking. And I love to share energy with other people. I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to voice it because I feel like it's an edge for me. I'm just going to voice it. And of course, what do you know? This opportunity comes in. No matter what happens moving forward, it's one of those breadcrumbs of the universe being like, hey, we're listening and it's working. Every single time you lean into that edge, there is something on the other side for you. And there is such a power to being able to voice what it is that you desire. I look around at the people around me and the ones who are the most magnetic manifestors are people who talk about their dreams and their desires constantly. So the minute that you can voice something to somebody else, it becomes that much more powerful. Also, in addition to that, you have no idea the people that are on your team that want to support you. I see this in the case of the owner of the spa who connected me to this person for this opportunity. And people do not know what you have to offer if you're not speaking about where it is that you want to go or what it is that you do. And so when you can open yourself up and vulnerably, even if you feel like you're not fully ready, even if you feel like it's not yet the time, if you can speak about where you want to go, what your goals are, and what it is that you do confidently to somebody else, you have no idea the connection that they might make at a random opportunity or time, or the mention that they might drop for you that's going to help you get to that place. But nobody can support you if they don't know what you're your goals are. They don't know where you want to go. That's one of the biggest things I'm taking forward into this year. You've got to speak your goals out loud. Move in silence, but still let people in to where you want to go. The second is specifically in business to create streamlined systems for long-term sustainable success. All of the S's. So guaranteed, I see this all of the time where I will have high performers come to me and they'll be like, Steph, I'm so busy. I'm working on my business all the time, but for some reason I'm not generating the sales that I desire to generate. And that's because there is a difference between being busy and being productive and effective with the right things. And guaranteed, you are focusing on a whole lot of things that don't actually make a difference to your sales and the people that you're impacting. The biggest things that make a difference to creating sales and to impacting other people, getting yourself out in front of people, is having one core offer or program to be able to talk about and enroll people into. And now within my business, I do play with having, different tiers off of a core offer, but I started with one core offer and got really freaking good at talking about that one specific thing, which, yes, it helps create brand recognition for the people in your audience, but it also helps you narrow in on your own expertise and helps you feel like you're really fucking good at something and that you have a methodology that's dialed in, that you've tested over and over and refined over time. There's a different energy about that is so magnetic and it draws people in, versus if you're trying this over here and this over here and this over here and this over here. Sure, it might be awesome for your own creativity, but is it really helping you feel like an expert within your field, which then makes you magnetic to opportunities? That's for you to fully decide. In my personal experience, when you focus on one thing, it allows you to go deep. The second piece is focusing on going deeper versus wide with your containers and with your clients. And if there's a way, everyone's going to be in a different industry, but specifically within coaching, there's a way to work with people more long-term. You're going to see greater results from somebody who's doing the work consistently over time than somebody who's with you for one session, 2 sessions, or something that's like a quick spurt. There is just no denying the power of accountability and long-term support. It's why I will always have long-term support within my life, because they're people who can see you grow over time. That is absolutely powerful. That also allows you to generate recurring payments so that you don't have to worry about constantly creating more sales. You really get to go deep, create deeper transformation, and also not have to completely hustle all of the time for sales. My entire business has literally been built on a model of going deep with people versus wide, so that I get to see my clients grow over time versus constantly feeling like I have to hustle for the sale, which I don't necessarily think benefits anyone. So the third piece is to actually have a memorable movement and a mission that you are behind. If there's a part of you who's feeling bored by the results of your life or your business, or who's feeling like, oh, I'm just another coach, or I'm just another social media manager, or I'm just another X, Y, and Z professional, and you feel like you're blending into the crowd and you're getting a little bit lost, it's likely because you haven't yet narrowed in on the movement that you are here to serve. And that movement starts by you knowing your X factor and your purpose. And your X factor is that specific skill set that you have that's based on your past experiences, your innate gifts, and your learned skills that allows you to stand out within your industry. It's that thing that only you have that allows you to confidently speak about what it is that you do. Because if you feel like you're just another person within your industry, there's not going to be that spark or that magnetism when you start speaking in a room. That's not necessarily memorable. Your movement is then driven by the combination of your X factor and your purpose. So your movement is very simply, what do you stand for? What is it beyond what you just do, beyond the services that you offer, the products that you offer? What is the ripple effect that you desire to create within your own world? What is that? Because that movement happens on a one-to-one basis. But when you can share that movement with somebody, for example, I'm getting waxed at the spa and I start talking about my movement and the mission and the thing that I stand for. Not only am I a coach, but I believe in people really being able to fulfill their own purpose within their life. I believe with people being fully alive, and actually I have a podcast that goes into these things. And actually I also have programs, like all of that stuff that naturally comes up in conversation. If I didn't do that, the opportunity that dropped in might not have happened. It definitely wouldn't have happened because nobody would know the movement that I stand for. And if I also was like, oh yeah, I'm a coach, and I didn't personally know my own movement, guess what happens when I'm not in the room? I'm not going to come to mind for an opportunity because there wasn't anything that was specific or memorable about me. Your movement is what makes people think about you for opportunities, even when you're not in the room. It's got to be specific, it's got to be memorable, and it's got to be based on you, your own specific X factor and purpose, the thing that puts you in a league of your own within your own industry and differentiates you from the rest of the people, because it could not be replicated. It could never be replicated. If nobody has had the exact same past experiences, the exact same learned skills, the exact same innate gifts as you, they could never possibly have the same X factor as you. That X factor is what initiates your own movement. It's the why. What do you stand for in this world? When you can get clear on that, watch the doors open. And especially once you start speaking about it to other people, holy cannoli, your goals meets your mission, blast off. It's beautiful. You've got to have something to stand for. Every single leader who's ever done anything great had something, a message that they stood for, that then ties in with speaking your goals out loud. Okay. And so then the fourth piece is that when those opportunities do drop in, when the clients do drop into your world, say yes to them. Say yes when they present. So often I will see high performers who sometimes have a little bit of perfectionism, recovering perfectionism in their field, will have an opportunity come in and then they'll let it sit because they're a little bit nervous about saying the perfect thing that's going to make them close, or they're afraid of fucking it up, such that they let it stay there. They might avoid looking at it. They might not act quickly and say yes to it. They might overthink, is this really the right opportunity for me? When it drops in, say yes to it. When you feel it, say yes to it. Say yes to it. When you can say yes to it, you're going to continue bringing in these opportunities over time, and you'll learn, was that the right one? Was it not the right one? Again, over time. Be quick. Yes, you can handle it. You can handle absolutely anything. And the mere fact that it has come into your realm means that you can handle it. With that said, I hope that you received something absolutely amazing from this podcast episode. And if you are someone who really wants to take your business to the next level, you desire to understand your specific X factor and the movement that drives everything that you do, and to also have the structures and systems set up in place so that you can generate income and live a life of abundance and freedom, even while doing what you love and serving the most incredible humans and making impact. If that is something that you desire to create, I'm going to be opening up 2 spots for one-on-one coaching for this next month. You can apply at the link in the show notes, and I cannot wait to chat there. It is absolutely my favorite way to go so deep with you and to create some magic in your business that you can really be in that purpose and get paid for it. So I love you all. I hope you have the most phenomenal rest of your day. If you enjoyed this podcast episode, as always, it means so much when you go over to Spotify or Apple, wherever you are listening to this, or even YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, and go ahead and give a rating on this podcast. That allows us to get this message out to more people and to create even better episodes in the future. So I'm so grateful that you've been here, and I will see you on the next episode.